A bit of a Dino update. So we're back on the 2.4 Dino Spider. We're making panels up and various repairs this week on the inner wing. So we'll have a look at the panels I've been making so we can see what's going on. So first off, we've got a front cross member. So there's a new front cross member. That's the areas where the radiator plugs into, and these are wiring tangs, so new ones of those. It's just bolted together at the minute because you have to assemble it on the car. That's the way they sort of work. And then this piece, this becomes where it joins onto the lower valance. And that would spot weld across here and spot welds onto it there. But anyway, that will need a bit of tweaking. But that you don't join that on until later on. But it sort of fits on there and then becomes the lower valance. Anyway, so that's that bit. And then we're into some more technical stuff here. Got a little box section here, a little box section bit, have a little crease through there. So we'll see that on the car, what that's all done. That one's finished, that's just an extra one I made. We've got an inner wing piece, which is a sort of a landing panel. And the wing itself will attach to this edge. There's a little stud here I've had to remake because they were damaged. So there you go, made some little studs up like that. So the idea of this, well, not the idea, what this is for is to do with where the thing that holds the tube up, the air tube that goes to it, goes onto that. So you'll see that on the car in a minute. Then this is a bit more elaborate. This is all inner wing stuff. So I saved that stud off of the original, reused that. But this is where the front strut would mount up through here. That will bolts onto there. And this becomes inner wing stuff. So there's a lot of work in here. You see there's funny angles on this where these sort of taper away. Then that folds in the other direction. And you've got all this lot down in here. And then this is where the bolt for the lower suspension goes on. So it's a very awkward panel to make. And you know, with all these different corresponding shapes. You can see that that's down there and then that's that way. So it's very odd. You'll see on the car why that's like it. And why that's being replaced. Because this is all where it all rusts from inside out. All this sort of festers up because this is all joined together. So this will have some holes put in it, and I'll have to MIG plug this to how it fits the inner wing structures. I can't spot weld it because a spot welder won't get into where this needs to go. But obviously an industrial spot welder, when they were building them at factory, you know, they got massive ones, so they could do it like that. But anyway, that's that. So let's pop through next door and we'll have a look at it on the car. Okay, so that's how that fits. That will go over there like that, over these studs. Pops on there, and then that will go over there like that, you see? And that fits. So that will need welding through there. Now there'll be more tweaking to do on this to get it to sit better, and of course the edges will be cut down a bit further. But this is where we're into these weird shapes, where that goes like that and that goes in there. And as I unpick it from there, you'll see. See, that's a completely different angle to that piece. See how that one's there and that one's there? Now this is all the reinforcings for the front suspension. So top strut mount goes on here, where the shock absorber goes. Then the upper wishbone's here, lower wishbone goes on the cross member that's not there. But these are different angles, you see, and that's why that is that way and that one's that way. So it allows it to do, you know, dive down and fit there. This is 1.5 mil. You can see the rust that gets in between this and this is what blows it all out, which is what's happened to that side, you see. So we've unpicked a lot of that already, but you can see where it's all got in there and just blown the whole thing. Obviously there's loads of work to do on that wing. And I've made a front support on that side already. On the inner wing here, you see this piece is new in here. Oh, I'm in the shadow. Yeah, see that's new, and that's where the upper wishbone mounts to. So these are the panels we're looking at on the other side, but from, you know, the opposite and from the inside, as it were. And again, yeah. So this is all good on that side, on the other side, but this side needs doing. But the whole of this inner wing structure's got to come apart. So that's a different job. So that's that bit. I'll pop that back on just to let it sit there so it looks neat. So you can see how that's going to work. And then this piece was to replace this one, this wing top bit here. So that was effectively it. Oh, swap that round. How's that look? What are we doing here? There you go, like that. Yeah, so that was that. So that's where that stud went. So what it is, I made a new stud and tried to weld it into here, and it just blew holes everywhere. But you can see how peppered it is and thin it was. So I thought, well, let's just get rid of that. Start again. So I'll make a new. So that's it. So this is a new one. So this pops on here like this. Effectively goes in there like that. So that's got a join along there. And something like that anyway. It's going to need a bit of tweaking. But that's it, that's how that'll fit. And then the wing itself goes across here. So the wing joins along that edge. So that'll go on there like that. And then you can see how it sort of dives in underneath there, which is all a bit odd. And of course this is strange because you've got two folds. You've got that one folding that way out and this one folding this way out. So a lot of messing around to do that. So that's that one. Now the other stuff that's been going on this week is at the end of here. So I've taken this off from there, and then I've had to make the end of that up and then put that back in, and then a new wiring tang there. But you'll see why that all had to come off in a minute. I'll get the torch so we can see properly. All that engine's new. If we come round to this side, you can see there's that box, you see. So I've made that box up. We were looking at that box on the bench a minute ago, and then that's that original piece I took off and put back on, and new end there. But you see that box section had to go in there because it's all rusted out through here. And you can see here where it's all a bit weird, where it doesn't fit very well, and I sort of thrashed it in to make it fit. Well, that's not because I made it wrong, that's because that's how they did them. Let's look at the other side, and you can see. There we are, you see? Factory. That's how they are. So that comes down, and this sort of will sit out here before you thrash it in and make it fit. So I copied that. Yeah, that's the way you do it. The way they did it. So that's that. Cross member, well this cross member is quite good, but because I've got a lot of work to do in here, you can see all this lot all through here has got to be dealt with, so I'll probably have to take that piece off to sort this out because it's probably all rusty behind there, which will then ties into here. And then that whole new wing's got to come off. I think I might have to take that off the car to repair. I don't know yet, I haven't made my mind up on that. But that's when it's on a jig. So it might just be that I put a new cross member in it because it's just, I've got to cut it about so much. It might be better to put that new one in, which is why I've done it. I basically made one in case we need it. But if we don't need it, it's a bonus, isn't it? Got one for stock. But I think we'll be needing it. But if we come around this side, you can see, you know, in the pictures, all this has got to be done, all this area. You know, it's all where it's been repaired in the past. All this sort of filler stuff in there, you know, I don't know what that is, like a load of gump in there. But all this, you know, has had it. When I was working on it, this dropped out of it. Another big lump of, you know, remember that, all the tar that was in it before? Another lump of that fell out. There's a new wiring tang. That one goes up in here, but that will go when I've fitted that other piece. But you can see I've done these ones already. So new wiring tangs. This was all bent, had to be straightened out, and it had snapped off the stud, so I've had to sort that out and braze that back in, so that's done. And then that's another piece that was let into it. That's a piece that was up in here that I've cut out. I got rid of that. That's a load of junk. That's the top of here, which would be that bit. And that was that. And that's where I took that stud out of. So I got rid of that because that was all rusty. That's that end that went on here. See, that was the original end for that end there. So that's why I had to replace that. Got rid of that whilst I was about it. This piece was in here. That was all festered up. So that, yeah, that way round. That went round that way, and it was all festered up where it's double skinned. So I made a new one of those. This another little bit. Then that's the original one of those. That's our one of them. You can see. And you see how it's thrashed around. You see how much they have to move that round to do that. So we've done that, and that's these lines in here that I was on about. So that's that. So that's the Dino update. I've got to do a little bit more work to get these to sit right before I weld them in, but that will happen next week, and then that'll all go in. So there's a lot of messing around, a lot of awkward stuff, but that's what it's like. You know, it's no substitute for it. It's just hard graft and time. And you just have to put the effort in with these things and the time to get the rewards, as it were. So we're getting there. But this area is a big problem on Dinos, and because of where the engine sits sort of here, you can't see it often. So a lot of people don't realise how much damage they've got in here and how much corrosion is in there. It's a bit of a weak point on them. But of course, you know, with the engine in situ, it's very difficult to see it. So a lot of people don't see it, don't realise it's like it. But, you know, this won't be like it anymore. It'll be just right. So with that, you can see my breath. It's cold enough, I'm going to go home. So I'll say good night. You can watch this with your cup of tea and enjoy it.